June 20th, 2009, a young Iranian woman is shot in the heart by a sniper. Who was she? What did she stand for? Why did she die?
Neda symbolizes the youth generation in Iran and what they want, what they're fighting for. She's a symbol of freedom in Iran. This is the importance of her. But what was important for me was that she was exactly the same as other girls I've met in Iran. She just wanted some personal freedom. She was not into politics. She was there in the streets because she couldn't keep herself silent when she was saying that the Iranian government is killing people in the streets. She was a free spirit.
In so many ways, any girl, anywhere.
It was a rigged election, and after that people came to streets. The Iranian government became very violent. They used tear gas, they killed people, and Neda joined all the protests from the beginning. And June 20, she was in the streets of Tehran, where a sniper killed her.
This martyred woman suddenly became the symbol of everybody else that was martyred by the Islamic Republic.
Her death moment was captured on a cell phone, and it was posted on YouTube, and it circulated around the world in a matter of moments. So a day after that, 2 days after that, it was in the hand of presidents and influential people of the world. Nobody had interviewed her family, and at the same time the Iranian government is trying to build up stories upon stories, trying to say that she was not killed, or she was killed by CIA, by BBC correspondent. So it was important to tell the world the true story of Neda's death. At the same time, it was impossible for anybody to go inside Iran and film this story. It was impossible to call the family on phone because all their phones were hacked and their house was under control. I met Neda's brother at some point, and they agreed that they meet me, and the family meet me, and they agreed to be interviewed. But all of it was very difficult because how I could go to their house, how I could communicate with the family, how could I take my camera to their house. I decided to pretend that I live in the same apartment that they are, just to put my handy cam in my bag. So this is the way I went to their house for the first time. I was lucky. You know, if at any point I could be arrested, and if I was arrested, nobody knows what would happen because I was filming Neda's family. My hope is that people in Iran are seeing it on YouTube and on internet and different websites. We've tried very hard to tell the world what is the truest story about Neda. She was like one of the millions of other girls in Iran.
On July 11, 2009, supporters of democracy in Iran held a rally at the U.S. Capitol.
Bakhtiar began her journalism career at CNN, where she served as a producer, an international correspondent, and a program anchor. She continued her broadcast journalism career as an international correspondent for Fox News. Today, she serves as the Director of Public Relations for the Public Affairs Alliance of Iranian Americans here in Washington, D.C., where she has dedicated her efforts to presenting a more positive and accurate image of Iranian Americans to the American public. Khanum Bakhtiar.
We are here today to be the voice of those whose voices have been shut forever in Iran. People like Neda, whose dying eyes have been forever etched in our minds, are not alone inside of Iran. There are many more like her, dying even as we gather today, simply because they wanted to protest peacefully. Some of our greatest scholars in Iran, around 200 of them, have been arrested. People who are not politically active. People like Dr. Kianataj Bakhsh, a well-known scholar, very respected, an Iranian American, ripped from the night in his home, his 1-year-old crying, his wife terrified, for no reason at all. This is the terror that has gripped Iran. And every day, our brothers and sisters are going out in the streets and finding different ways to have their voices heard. What we take for granted here, the ability to gather and say whatever we want, is something they are dying for. It is our responsibility not to let their stories go unheard. Each of us have a responsibility, and there's something every one of us can do. You can write your senators and you can write your congressmen. Believe me when I tell you, when they get hundreds of letters, they pay attention. And you can even ask your president, President Obama, who gave such a powerful speech in Cairo not too long ago, talking about human rights, and ask him to take a bigger position on this issue of Iran, and ask him not to turn his back on the people of Iran. One further note, we must unite, our community must unite. We must put our own political differences, our own issues regarding flags or religion aside, and stand behind our brothers and sisters in Iran.
Which included 4 students arrested 10 years ago in the uprising. A scroll, which was originally starred in Europe, that says Ahmadinejad is not my president, was there for people to sign. This scroll will be presented to the UN and will be the longest scroll in the world.
They are the same ones that helped plant the seed 10 years ago during the student 1999 uprisings that we call Tira Hijdahom. They are part of the same breed of young people that we're seeing today, the brave ones on the streets, who are risking their security, their safety, their lives in order to pave a more free Iran. So I turn to you. I ask you how each and every one of you can keep this momentum alive, can keep this fire burning, can keep planting these seeds so that our future generations can see a democratic system. No one said freedom would be free. It's our responsibility to make the sacrifices, whether through our time, whether through finances. I mean, I'm not the one to tell you, you are Americans, you're on this soil, you're part of this great civil resistance that gave rise to many of the freedoms you are enjoying today. Those in Iran right now are paying the price with their lives. We too must make these sacrifices, and this struggle doesn't end at just Iranian people. The American people also have a vested interest in seeing a democratic Iran, because a Middle East that is peaceful and stable will ultimately result in the peace and security of those here. If Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was here right now and was listening, I would say your days are numbered. I flew out here from Vancouver just yesterday so I could be with you today because I felt this was important to gather. I want these pictures that are going to be taking place today to get sent back to Iran. Just the mere hope that they'd get a glimpse of seeing that people have not forgotten about them, that we are still standing behind them. And I want to see Iranian faces, I want to see American faces, and I hope someone's taking a picture right now, because I want to send this picture to Iran and say, to Iran, with love and solidarity from Washington, D.C. So everyone, please put up your hands and show that you're making this oath to not forget the Iranian people and to say that we are behind them and we are not forgotten. Please take a picture of this. I'm going to send this to Iran. So please, that's it. Just keep up the pressure. Keep the pressure on your leaders. Keep the pressure on the media. Let them know that you are concerned. They will keep it up if you demand it. Work with the NGOs. This is what we can do from here. We have to be the voices of those who don't have one on the inside. And that's all I can ask for you. I always say, drop by drop, we can create an ocean of change and put out the fires of injustice in Iran and the rest of the world. So thank you so much for coming here today. It means so much.